As you all know, a miniature sub called the Titan lost contact a few years ago. In fact, it's impossible not to know about it with rolling coverage and live updates. It seems, however, that some people have gotten a little bit angry with Ash Sarkar on Twitter. If the super rich can spend $250,000, presumably she means dollars, on vanity jaunts 2.4 miles beneath the ocean, then they're not being taxed enough. Emily Hewitson said this in response: the fact that Ash Sarkar's first thought was about the wealth of those aboard the submarine rather than their safety tells you all you need to know about communists. We've also got Loza weighing in, and I'm not quite sure what he's actually talking about. There are human beings in a cramped metal and carbon fibre tube, fighting for their last breath on the planet, 4 kilometres beneath the surface of the sea, and you chose jealousy over compassion. Seems like such a warped sense of priorities to me. Cue pride flag response. What does that have to do with the pride flag? A bit obsessed much? I reckon that's his new kink. It's also incredibly ironic he says, they're human beings. Yeah, but you don't seem to give a shit about refugees, do you? I mean, we're usually the ones saying, they're human beings. We've got another from Matthew Steeples. Disgusting piece of filth. Ash Sarkar should be ashamed of herself. Of course, she won't be, however. 5 people on the verge of either hopefully being rescued or facing death. Ash Sarkar should show some compassion, but instead turns this into some class war. Shame on her. We've even got one from serial Meghan Markle stalker Piers Morgan. Actually, the real morality tale from this is how horrifically non-compassionate you be kind woke mob can be. Be kind. It sort of reminds me when people use the term kinder, gentler politics back at the left, in which we all know the famous Dawn Foster tweet. Reminder that the kinder, gentler politics is about ending social murder and inequality, not saying please and thank you on twitter.com. Absolute banger and classic from the late Dawn Foster. Now, there's loads more. I'm not going to spend ages going through all the wild responses, but I do want to pick up on the fact that people are calling for humanity and compassion. There are literally 600 missing refugees on the coast of Greece. Where is your compassion there? Now, that's entirely the point. I don't think Ash should be taking lectures from those who would happily let refugees and migrants drown. So, honestly, you can fuck off with that one. Besides, Ash wasn't wrong. I mean, it's crazy how people are rich enough to go on unregulated vanity voyages. It literally costs $250,000 each. What do I mean by unregulated? Well, the Titan sub itself didn't pass safety regulations. In fact, they were told that this is very dangerous and there's a good possibility of death. Titan was never certified or classed. The company wrote a blog post about it in 2019, saying that the way Titan had been designed fell outside the accepted system, but it does not mean that OceanGate doesn't meet standards where they apply. Sure. Now, the company owner, who was on the sub too, said this in response to the fact that it was clearly a shoddy project. The classification agencies slowed down innovation. That's right, the owner arrogantly says that profit matters more than safety. Now, all of the passengers were aware of the risks. They literally signed a waiver. A bunch of rich people willingly did something incredibly stupid despite being warned about it, and now half the world stops and pulls out all the resources to save them. We have people fleeing war through no fault of their own, drown every single year, and yet we don't do jack shit. Now, what's worse is that we have a huge hand in this. We seem to enjoy bombing nations, which of course creates refugees. We also refuse to take climate change seriously by not transforming our energy systems. Climate change could possibly be the cause of 1 billion refugees. Time and time again, I hear the poisonous rhetoric of migrants and refugees deserving their fates due to the risk of crossing the channel. Well, these 5 incredibly rich people knew the exact risks involved, and this is what happened. What we can see from all of this, though, is that the right are complete bitches for billionaires, whilst at the same time, they hate poor, brown, and black people.